Today we are going to be graphing absolute value equations. Okay, this first one, the one way we can always graph equations is to make a table and plug numbers into our equation and get, a y. So we're going to plug numbers in for x to get our y, or our f of x. So let's plug -3 in. The absolute value of -3 is +3. Plug -2 in. Absolute value of -2 is +2. The absolute value of -1 is 1. 0. The absolute value of 1 is 1. That's a common mistake people make. They'll say, well, the absolute value of 1 is -1 because of the opposite. No, the absolute value of a number is always positive. So the absolute value of 2 is 2. The absolute value of 3 is 3. Now this is our base function for absolute values. So now I'm going to go and plot those points. -3, 3. -2, 2. -1, 1. 0, 0. 1, 1. 2, 2. And 3, 3. Now, I'm going to draw a line. Okay, going through those points. Okay. Now, what does this graph look like? Okay, it looks like a V. So absolute value graphs will always look like a V. Now that V may point upwards like this, or it may point downwards like this. Okay. Now a vertex is where two lines intersect. The vertex of this is 0, 0. Okay. Now we can do this a lot easier though by using a formula. Okay. Without having to plug 7 different numbers in every single time. Okay. And it's this formula right here. This plus or minus, this is going to tell us if it opens up or down. Okay. This A, this is our slope. Okay. So it's our rise over run. X minus H, the stuff inside of here, this is our horizontal shift. Okay, so here we're going to do the opposite of this number, and I'll show you what I mean here in a little bit. It is also the x of our vertex. And then last but not least, this k, this is our vertical shift. This number stays the same. But most importantly, it's the y of our vertex. Okay? So we're going to use that every single time, okay, to graph these. For this first one, we have I'm going to use different colors for each one. Okay? We have the absolute value of x. So I'm going to use the same process every single time. I'm going to start inside the absolute value. There is no other number inside the absolute value other than x. So that means the x of our vertex or our horizontal shift is 0. There's no number behind our absolute value, so our vertical shift is 0. So that means our y of our vertex is 0. Now I'm going to look out in front. Out in front of the absolute value. There is no sign, so that means it's positive, so it's going to open upwards. And there's no numbers, so our slope is 1. So I'm going to go up 1 to the right 1. So I'm going to plot these points. Up 1 to the right 1. And I'm going to go up 1 to the left 1. Now this next one, 1/2 absolute value of x. There's nothing inside of it. So our x of our vertex is 0. There's nothing behind it. So the y of our vertex is 0. So I'm going to plot that point. It's positive out in front, so it opens up. and our slope is 1/2, so we're going to go up 1 over 2. Up 1 over 2. Then I'm going to go up 1 to the left 2. Now I'm going to draw a line through those points. Okay. Now the last one, f of x equals 2 absolute value of x. There's nothing inside the absolute value, so our x of our vertex is 0. There's nothing behind it, so that is 0 also. Now I'm going to go and look out in front. It's positive, so it opens upwards, and my slope is 2, so I'm going to go up 2 to the right 1. Up 2 to the right 1. Now I'm going to go up 2 to the left 1. Whatever you do to one side of the vertex, you have to do to the other side. Now, when your slope is 1, then your function didn't change. Its slope didn't change. Now, when your slope is greater than 1, like this green line, okay, I'm sorry, when our slope is greater than 1, like the blue line here, it became narrower. When your slope is between 0 and 1, so like a fraction, it's like this green line, it became wider. And our vertex for all three of those was 0, 0. Remember, you can stop or pause this at any time. I'm going to go kind of quick through this. Absolute value of x, that's the same one we've been doing. Okay, so our x of our vertex is 0, the y of our vertex is 0. It opens up and our slope is positive. So I'm going to draw a line through those points. Now the next one, negative absolute value of x. So the x of our vertex is 0. There's nothing behind it, so the y of our vertex is 0. And this one, it opens down. It's negative, so it opens down, and our slope is 1. So I'm going to go down 1 to the right 1, down 1 to the left 1. Now, when the number out in front is positive, the graph opens up. When the number out in front is negative, the graph opens down. And our vertex for both of these was 0, 0. So now if we put them together, okay, put some more of these together. So 1/3 x, nothing inside the absolute value, nothing behind it, so our vertex is 0, 0. My slope here is 1/3 and it's positive, so it's going to open up. So I go up 1 to the right 3, and I go up 1 to the left 3. I'm going to draw my line. Okay, now I'm going to do my next one. -3 absolute value of x. So there's nothing inside the absolute value, so my x of my vertex is 0. There's nothing behind the absolute value, so my y of my vertex is 0. Now my slope is 3, and it is negative, so that tells me it opens downwards. So I'm going to go down 3 to the right 1, and I'm going to go down 3 to the left 1. Now I'm going to draw my line connecting those. Now, let's answer some questions over to the right here. Let's look at 1/3 x, the red line. This one is wider, and the way we can tell that is because this 1/3, it's smaller than 1, okay? It's less than 1, so it's wider, and it opened up because it's being positive. The next one, -3, That tells us it opens down. And 3, just look at the number. 3 is bigger than 1, so it means it's going to be narrower. So you could answer these without having to graph them. Now we got some stuff going on inside the absolute value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve this, x minus 3, so I'm going to add 3 to both sides. So the x of my vertex is the opposite of this. So the opposite of negative 3 is 3. There's nothing behind it. For my y of my vertex, so 0. So 3, 0. Now I'm going to draw a dashed line going straight up and down. This is called my axis of symmetry. Axis of symmetry cuts something right directly in half. So the stuff on the left side is going to be the same as the stuff on the right side. So now look out in front of this. It is positive, and there's no number there, so your slope is 1. So up 1 to the right one, up 1 to the left one. So now when that number inside the absolute value is negative, when it's negative, we are going to shift it to the right. Okay? And our vertex of this was 3, 0. This next one, x plus 2, so the opposite of that is negative 2. The y of my vertex is 0 because there's nothing behind there, so there's no vertical shift. So I'm going to go to negative 2, 0. Draw in my dashed line for my axis of symmetry. My slope out in front is positive, so it's opening up, and it's 1, so I'm going to go up 1 to the right one, and up 1 to the left one. So when you find that number to be negative, it's a shift to the left. Okay? And your vertex for this was negative 2, 0. Now, here, we have 3 of them we're going to graph. Absolute value of x. So we start here. 0, 0 is your vertex. So up 1 to the right one and up 1 to the left one. So now if we have a plus 4 behind it, there's nothing inside of it, so your x of your vertex is 0, your y is 4. It's that number stays the same, so I'm going to go 0, 4, plot a point. My slope is positive, and it's 1, so we're going to go up 1 to the right one, up 1 to the left one. And then lastly, we'll do the last one. So my slope, my vertex, the x is 0, my y is negative 3. So I go to 0, negative 3, plot a point. Your slope is positive, and it's 1, so you go up 1 to the right one, up 1 to the left one. So now when your k, when that number was positive, we shifted it up, and when it was negative, we shifted it down. And you can see our vertex for each one of these is over here on the left. Now we're going to throw everything together for this last one. So inside the absolute value, always start inside. So the x of your vertex is 5, the y of your vertex is 3. So plot that point, 5, 3. So that tells me I'm moving to the right 5 and up 3. I'm going to draw in my dashed line for my axis of symmetry. Now my slope is negative, so it's going to open down, and it's 2. So down 2 to the right one, and down 2 to the left one. Okay, and then you'll be able to answer all those questions.